A trip to the World Series is at stake for the final four teams in baseball. This edition of the Power Zone Sports Podcast for the week of October 15th, 2023. We have a Texas-sized showdown in the American League Championship Series between the Houston Astros. Of course, they won the 2017 World Series under controversy, but every year since then, they have been back in the postseason every year since then. So I remember when Theo Epstein got the job to take over the Chicago Cubs and become their general manager, and he was talking about how the Cubs needed to have a foundation of sustained success. Well, if anyone takes a look at the Houston Astros and what they've done since then, the Houston Astros are clearly the team with a foundation of sustained success. And they will be taking on the Texas Rangers, who very nearly choked away their own shot at the postseason. But they had a cash infusion of about, if I remember right, about $500 million to improve the team. They got a veteran manager in there in Bruce Bochy. And Bruce Bochy, the man, is underrated, but he is one of the best managers in the history of baseball. And so that lineup uh, is going to be good. They're going to be a potent lineup. The stat I saw that was very funny to me: the Texas Rangers scored 11 runs against the Orioles Sunday night. The same day, the Dallas Cowboys had a power outage and were held to only 10 points against San Francisco. So that was everything you needed to know about how the North Texas teams did Sunday night as far as that was concerned. But it will be very interesting. Marcus Simeon and Corey Seager and the rest of that Rangers squad, Jonah Heim, they've been a very good team in their own right. But if you ask me if I think this 2023 Rangers squad faced the 2011 Rangers squad, I think the 2011 Rangers squad would beat this 2023 Rangers squad, which made the 2023 loss by the Rangers to St. Louis all the more disappointing because I thought the Rangers were the better team, and the Cardinals got lucky that year. Then, unfortunately, but that's the way it goes, and the Cardinals did win that year in 2011. Home field advantage was in their favor, and so that is more than likely the reason why they ended up pulling it out and winning. But that 2011 postseason was a lot of fun, and it really provided some memorable baseball moments. And I'm hoping that this American League Championship Series will also provide similar moments that a baseball fan, even a non-baseball fan, can look at that and say, you know what, I love this game. It's a great game of baseball after all. In the National League playoffs for the National League Championship Series, it will be the Arizona Diamondbacks as they eliminated the Los Angeles Dodgers, swept them in three straight games. A very surprising outcome, considering the Dodgers had won over 100 games in the National League West. Seemed like they were well on their way towards being a dominant team. But they were eliminated three straight games. Their pitching really failed them against Arizona, especially in the third game, where Lance Lynn gave up four straight postseason home runs, back to back to back to back, and Arizona in that third inning went on a tear and never really looked back after that. So congratulations to Arizona. They are moving on. They will play the Phillies, and we'll see. We'll see if anyone can stop the momentum of the Phillies. If Arizona, do they have another run in them? Can they party like it's 2001 when they last made it to the World Series? And of course, a bloop single by Luis Gonzalez helped the Diamondbacks win the World Series that year against the New York Yankees. And we'll see about that. But for the Phillies, of course, they have not only they've been so dominant ever since Bryce Harper decided to come over there and they made it to the World Series last year, but they came up short. Of course, they have unfinished business on their mind, and of course, as a fan of the 2016 Cubs, I'm forever going to be happy with Kyle Schwarber, hoping he gets to make another appearance in the World Series. Got to be impartial to these former Cubs, and it would be nice to see Schwarber back in the World Series, but we'll see. It should be a very compelling series of baseball. ALCS matchup starts Sunday night, and I believe the National League Series will start Monday night. So a very interesting next week upcoming as we're getting set to find out who is going to meet in the World Series. Here's a new segment that we're going to do called On This Day in Sport History for the 15th of October. And the Philadelphia Eagles played their first NFL game against the New York Giants. And that was in the year of 1933. And the Philadelphia Eagles lost 56 to nothing to the New York Giants. So they didn't do very well, but normally your expansion teams don't do well when they play the first game. Normally they do get crushed. But I remember 2002 watching the Houston Texans not only compete against the Dallas Cowboys in their first regular season game, they ended up beating the Dallas Cowboys in their first regular season game. And that was a loss that really foreshadowed bad things to come for the Cowboys more than it foreshadowed good things to come for the Texans. But that being said, the Cowboys team that year 5-11, seemingly every year, and then after 3 years in a row being 5-11, if I remember right. Jerry Jones fired Dave Campo, brought in the tuna, Bill Parcells, and also that was really the start of the Cowboys once again starting to get back into the Cowboys of old, at least having dominant regular seasons, making the postseason, and only to lose in the craziest of manners. Which, oh wait, nothing has changed. The Cowboys have lost the last two postseasons to San Francisco in crazy manner, in craziest of fashions. And then the last game, the 49ers destroyed the Cowboys, 35 to 10. And so every year the Cowboys say they're going to be great. Every year they look like they're going to be so dominant. And then whenever a statement game comes up, the Cowboys just seemingly can't seem to get it done as of right now. So we'll see how the Cowboys do coming up. They'll play the Los Angeles Chargers Monday night in Inglewood. And so hopefully the Cowboys can, whenever they've lost this season, they've usually taken their aggression out on the next team and usually try to destroy them. So we'll see if the Cowboys have that in them this time out. I remember the last time the Cowboys played the Chargers last year, it came down to a field goal at the buzzer. And, of course, Brandon Aubrey, the new Cowboys kicker, he's perfect so far in the year. So if that scenario came up again, I have no doubt he would hit the field goal and the Cowboys would win it. So I think the Cowboys are going to win against the Chargers. In the meantime, other NFL games that will be taking place on today will be... All right, so we got an early game, Ravens at the Titans overseas. And then the 1 o'clock game starting, we got the Commanders at the Falcons, Vikings at the Bears, NFC North showdown, Seahawks at the Bengals, 49ers at the Browns, Saints at the Texans, Colts at the Jaguars, Panthers at the Dolphins, Patriots at the Raiders in Vegas, Lions at the Buccaneers, later games, Cardinals at the Rams, Eagles at the Jets, and Sunday Night Football, Giants at the Bills, and Monday Night Football, Cowboys at the Chargers. That's your schedule of games upcoming for Week 6 of the NFL season. For listening to this, you have reached the end of my podcast. Thank you for listening to my podcast. Please don't forget to subscribe and follow me on X at PZN Sports. Please visit my website, pznsports.com, where this podcast will be, as well as on YouTube. And so, thank you for listening, and hopefully we can do this again next week.